In the middle of the night, a car stops quietly at an empty gas station. The back door slowly opens, and someone pushes out a big German shepherd. The dog looks confused and scared, his eyes wide with worry. He turns quickly, trying to jump back inside, but the door slams shut. The dog stands still, watching helplessly as the car drives away into the darkness. Rain starts to fall, soaking his fur, but he doesn't move. He waits patiently, believing his family will come back for him, but they don't return. Instead, the night grows darker and colder. Just when the dog curls up to sleep near the gas station, he hears something strange far away, hidden deep in the woods. A tiny, frightened cry. Slowly, he gets up. He must find out what it is, not knowing his life is about to change forever. When morning finally arrived, the sky was still gray. Drops of rain slid down the windows of the little gas station. The German shepherd, all wet and cold, curled up under the roof by the store door. He did not bark or cry, he just watched the road, always hoping to see that car come back. His fur was muddy. Sometimes he shivered, his tail tucked close to his body. Every time a car drove past on the highway, he lifted his head. Sometimes a car would turn in and stop for gas. The dog would stand up quickly, tail wagging just a little, his eyes searching every face. But nobody from his family ever got out. Some people looked at him with soft eyes. Some just walked around him, too busy or not sure what to do. But everyone noticed him there. By noon, the rain stopped, but the wind was cold. The station owner, Mr. Peterson, came out to check the pumps. He saw the dog lying there, and his face grew sad. Mr. Peterson liked animals, but his station was small, and he didn't know if he could help. Still, he went inside and filled a bowl with water. He found some bread in the back room, broke it into pieces, and set it near the dog. "Hey boy," Mr. Peterson said quietly. "You look hungry. Want something to eat?" The German shepherd lifted his head and looked at Mr. Peterson. He did not bark or growl. He sniffed the food, but he didn't eat right away. Instead, he turned back to stare at the road. Mr. Peterson sighed. He sat down on the step and waited. "Are you lost? Did someone leave you here?" he asked gently. But the dog only looked at him with sad brown eyes. After a while, a pickup truck stopped for gas. A lady in a blue coat saw the dog and came over. "Is he yours?" she asked Mr. Peterson. Mr. Peterson shook his head. "No, he was here when I came to work. Looks like someone just left him." The lady frowned. "Poor thing. He's a big dog, but he looks so scared." "He won't leave that spot," Mr. Peterson said. "Just sits and waits like he's hoping someone comes back." The lady looked at the dog and reached out her hand, but the German shepherd moved back. He wasn't sure if she was safe or not. The lady nodded, understanding. "I wish I could help," she said softly, "but I have to go to work." Many cars stopped that day. Some people took pictures of the dog with their phones. A boy got out of a van and tried to give the dog half his sandwich, but the dog just sniffed it and looked away. He was waiting, always waiting. When it was time for lunch, Mr. Peterson brought out a can of chicken from his lunchbox. He opened it and poured some into a bowl, then slid it across the ground. The dog's nose twitched, and this time he ate a few bites, but soon he was back to watching the road. The hours passed. The wind made little waves in the puddles. A truck driver stopped and said, "That's a fine dog. If no one comes for him, maybe you should keep him." Mr. Peterson smiled, but he wasn't sure. "He's waiting for someone," he said. "He doesn't belong to me." Late in the afternoon, 2 girls on bicycles rode up. They saw the German shepherd and stopped. "He's so pretty," one girl said. "Can we pet him?" "Careful," warned her friend. "Maybe he bites." But the dog did not growl. He just watched them with tired eyes, too sad to play. The girls whispered and then left. Inside the station, Mr. Peterson made a sign that said, "Lost dog, German shepherd found at gas station. Does he belong to you?" He put it in the window where everyone could see. As evening came, the shadows grew long, and the lights from the station looked warm against the cold air. Still, the dog did not leave his spot. He lay there, facing the road, as if each car might be the one he waited for. Just before closing, a white car stopped at the pump. A woman with short dark hair stepped out. She saw the German shepherd and frowned. "Is that dog still here?" she asked Mr. Peterson. "He was here this morning too." "He hasn't moved much," said Mr. Peterson. "I think he was left here last night." The woman sighed. People can be so cruel. Someone should call animal control. Mr. Peterson looked at the dog, and his heart ached. Let's give him another night. Maybe his owner will come back. The woman nodded, but her eyes were worried. I hope so. He looks heartbroken. When the station closed, Mr. Peterson turned off the lights. He left a bowl of water and some food by the door, just in case. He looked back at the dog one last time and said, "Good night, boy. Oh, I hope you find your family." The German Shepherd did not move. He lay his head on his paws and stared down the empty road. The night grew cold again. Wind rattled the windows, and leaves danced across the pavement. The dog shivered, but he did not run away. He was waiting, always waiting. Far away in the woods, a small sound drifted through the trees, a soft, shaky cry. The German Shepherd lifted his head, his ears perked up. For the first time, he looked away from the road. He listened, turning his head to find where the sound was coming from. He stood up and sniffed the air. The wind brought the scent of wet leaves and something else, something small and afraid. He took one step toward the woods, then stopped. He looked back at the road, still hoping for the car to return. But the crying sound came again, a little louder this time. The German Shepherd whined softly. He did not want to leave his spot, but the noise in the woods made his heart pound. He looked back and forth. Should he wait or should he go? Inside the station, Mr. Peterson watched through the window. He saw the dog standing alert, staring into the trees. He wondered what the dog heard, maybe a raccoon or a lost kitten, or maybe something worse. But he was tired, so he closed the blinds and went to bed, hoping the dog would be safe. Out in the dark, the German Shepherd paced in a small circle. He looked one more time at the empty road, then took a deep breath and walked slowly toward the woods. His paws sank into the wet grass. The trees were thick and the shadows were deep, but the dog kept going, following the sound. It was very quiet, except for the soft cries coming from somewhere ahead. The dog's heart beat faster as he walked deeper into the woods. Every snap of a twig made him stop and listen. He passed bushes that scratched his legs, but he did not turn back. He was afraid, but he felt he needed to help. He walked for a long time, pushing through ferns and branches, stopping now and then to listen. The crying grew louder. It was close now. Suddenly, the dog stopped in a small clearing. He saw something moving under a pile of leaves. It was small, dirty, and shaking. The German Shepherd stepped closer and sniffed. It was a tiny puppy, alone and cold, with big eyes full of fear. The puppy whimpered and tried to crawl away but was too weak. The German Shepherd nudged the puppy gently with his nose. The little one shivered but did not cry out. The big dog looked around. The woods were dark and scary, but he stayed by the puppy's side. The German Shepherd laid down next to the puppy to keep it warm. He licked the puppy's ears and made a soft, friendly sound, as if saying, "You're not alone anymore." As the wind blew harder, the German Shepherd curled himself around the puppy. Together, they waited in the shadows, lost but not alone. Back at the gas station, Mr. Peterson woke up suddenly, worried about the dog. He got dressed, grabbed a flashlight, and went outside. But when he looked, the German Shepherd was gone. He called into the night, but there was no answer. In the woods, under the trees, the German Shepherd listened to the puppy's slow, tired breathing. The dog did not know what would happen next, but he knew he could not leave the little one behind. He looked up at the stars and then down at the puppy. He made a promise in his heart, "I will protect you." And so, the first night ended, not with the family returning, but with two lost souls together in the dark, waiting for a new day. The sky began to change color, turning from deep black to pale blue. The first rays of sunlight slipped through the leaves and landed on the wet ground. In the woods, everything was cold and quiet, except for two dogs, one big and strong, one tiny and weak, curled together under a tree. The German Shepherd woke up with a start. He shook his head, sending droplets of water flying from his ears. For a second, he forgot where he was. Then he remembered the soft crying, the little puppy, and the dark, scary walk through the woods. He looked down at the puppy. The small dog was still sleeping, breathing softly. The German Shepherd licked the puppy's nose to wake it up. The puppy yawned and opened its eyes. It tried to stand but wobbled and fell back down. Its fur was dirty, and its tummy made a tiny growling sound. The German Shepherd remembered the feeling of hunger too. He sniffed the air. He could smell the gas station far away, the scent of gasoline, old fries, and bread. But here in the woods, there was only mud, leaves, and the weak smell of a frightened puppy. The German Shepherd stood up and stretched his legs. He looked around for danger. He knew the woods were not safe, especially for a puppy so small. He heard the noise of crows in the trees and the distant howl of something wild. His ears went up, and he stood between the puppy and the dark part of the woods. The puppy looked at the big dog and wagged its tiny tail just a little. The German Shepherd felt a warmth in his chest. He remembered his old family, the happy days when he was young, when someone loved him. He missed those days, but now he had someone to care for again. He walked to the edge of the clearing. The sun was climbing higher, shining through the tall trees. He could see the gas station if he squinted, far away across a field. He thought about running back, but he was worried about leaving the puppy behind. The puppy whimpered. The German Shepherd hurried back to its side. The little one nuzzled against him, shivering. The big dog lay down again, curling his warm body around the puppy. He knew the puppy was hungry and thirsty, but there was nothing in the woods for them to eat or drink. Hours passed. The German Shepherd listened to every sound. Sometimes he heard branches snapping in the distance. He would lift his head, nose twitching, eyes alert. Once, a fox ran by, but when it saw the big dog, it hurried away. The sun rose higher. The puppy tried to stand again. This time, it took a few tiny steps, then fell. It didn't cry, just looked up at the German Shepherd with big, hopeful eyes. The big dog nuzzled the puppy, making a low, friendly sound. After a while, the German Shepherd knew they couldn't stay in the clearing much longer. The puppy needed food and water. He looked at the puppy and made a decision. He would take the puppy to the gas station where people might help. He gently picked up the puppy by the scruff of its neck, the way a mother dog carries her young. The puppy dangled in his jaws, legs kicking, but did not make a sound. The German Shepherd walked slowly, careful not to hurt the puppy or bump into bushes. The walk back to the gas station felt much longer than before. The ground was slippery, and the thorns scratched his legs. The puppy weighed almost nothing, but carrying it made his neck ache. The German Shepherd's own stomach growled with hunger. Halfway through the woods, the German Shepherd stopped. He heard voices and footsteps. He hid behind a bush, watching. 2 men in orange vests were picking up trash along the edge of the forest. The German Shepherd stayed very still. The men walked by, talking about their families and the weather, not noticing the dogs. When the path was clear, the German Shepherd moved forward again. He could see the sunlight shining on the gas station roof in the distance. His heart beat faster. Maybe Mr. Peterson would be there. Maybe he would help. But as they reached the edge of the trees, something strange happened. The German Shepherd saw a pack of 3 stray dogs near the parking lot. The dogs looked hungry and rough. Their ears were back, and their eyes were sharp. The German Shepherd put the puppy down gently and stood over it, blocking it from view. He barked loudly, warning the other dogs to stay away. The stray dogs stopped and looked at him. One of them growled, showing its teeth. The German Shepherd barked again, louder. The strays circled closer, but the big dog stood tall and strong. He was not afraid for himself, but for the tiny puppy behind him. For a long minute, no one moved. Then the strays gave up and trotted away, tails down. The German Shepherd breathed a sigh of relief. He picked up the puppy and hurried the last few steps to the edge of the parking lot. He saw Mr. Peterson coming out of the gas station, carrying a broom. Mr. Peterson saw the dog first and waved. Then he noticed the little puppy hanging from the German Shepherd's mouth. He dropped his broom and rushed over. "Oh my goodness," Mr. Peterson cried. "Where did you find that baby?" The German Shepherd put the puppy down gently and nudged it forward. The puppy wobbled and sat down, looking up with wide, frightened eyes. Mr. Peterson bent down and looked closely at both dogs. He could see the scratches on the German Shepherd's legs and the dirt on their fur. He felt sad and amazed at the same time. "You brought it all the way from the woods?" he asked softly. The German Shepherd wagged his tail just a little. Mr. Peterson shook his head. "You're a hero, boy," he said. He gently picked up the puppy and cradled it in his arms. The little dog was so light it hardly weighed anything. Its eyes closed and it leaned against Mr. Peterson's chest. The German Shepherd sat down and watched. For the first time since being left behind, his eyes looked a little brighter. Mr. Peterson carried the puppy into the store and found a soft towel. He cleaned the puppy's fur and brought it some milk in a small bowl. The puppy drank hungrily, its tiny tongue lapping at the milk. The German Shepherd stayed outside, watching through the glass door. He did not want to leave the puppy, but he was not sure if he was allowed inside. After a few minutes, Mr. Peterson came back out. He knelt down and held out his hand. "Come on, boy, you can come inside too." The German Shepherd slowly walked up to the door. He looked inside, saw the puppy safe on a towel, and wagged his tail. Mr. Peterson opened the door wider, and the big dog stepped in. Inside the store, the German Shepherd shook water from his fur. The floor was warm. He lay down near the puppy and rested his head on his paws. He felt safe for the first time since being left at the station. Mr. Peterson filled a bowl with water and put it in front of the German Shepherd. The dog drank deeply, finally quenching his thirst. Mr. Peterson smiled and patted his head. "You saved that puppy," Mr. Peterson said quietly. "You're a good dog." The puppy finished its milk and curled up on the towel. The German Shepherd watched, making sure it was safe. He felt tired, but also proud. As the day went on, more people came to the gas station. Some noticed the dogs and came inside to ask questions. Mr. Peterson told everyone the story. The big dog had saved a tiny puppy from the woods. People were amazed. A little girl came in with her mom. She knelt next to the German Shepherd and stroked his fur. "You're a hero," she whispered. The German Shepherd wagged his tail and licked her hand. The puppy woke up and licked the German Shepherd's nose. The two dogs sat together, side by side, watching the people come and go. They were no longer alone. Mr. Peterson called the local animal shelter and explained the story. "He's a brave dog," Mr. Peterson said. "He risked his life to save a puppy." The shelter worker promised to visit soon, but for now, Mr. Peterson said he would care for the dogs. He put up another sign. "Found. Big German Shepherd and rescued puppy. Please ask inside." As the sun began to set, the German Shepherd and the puppy lay together on a blanket in the back room of the station. Mr. Peterson checked on them often, bringing food and water and talking to them in a gentle voice. The puppy soon fell asleep, its tummy full, finally safe after its scary night in the woods. The German Shepherd curled up beside it, keeping it warm. Outside, the sky turned gold and pink. The shadows grew longer, and the world grew quiet again. But this time, the dogs were not waiting alone. They had each other, and they had hope. The German Shepherd listened to the sounds of the gas station. Mr. Peterson sweeping, cars coming and going, children laughing. For the first time in days, he closed his eyes and drifted off to sleep, feeling peaceful. He did not know what tomorrow would bring. Maybe someone would come looking for him. Maybe his old family would return, or maybe a new family would want him and the puppy. But for now, he knew one thing for sure. He had done something good. He had saved a life. And somewhere deep in his heart, he knew that things might finally get better. News about the brave German Shepherd spread quickly through the small town. By the next morning, people were talking about him at the bakery, the school, and even the grocery store. Some people drove by the gas station just to see the two dogs with their own eyes. Mr. Peterson arrived early. He brought extra food and a soft old blanket from home. When he unlocked the door, he found the German Shepherd curled protectively around the little puppy, both fast asleep. The big dog woke up when he heard Mr. Peterson and wagged his tail. "Good morning, hero," Mr. Peterson said with a smile. He gently patted the German Shepherd's head and checked on the puppy, who blinked sleepily and yawned. All morning, people came in and out. Some wanted to buy gas, but most wanted to hear the story. Mr. Peterson told it again and again, how the dog had been left behind, how he found the puppy in the woods, and how he refused to leave the little one's side. A reporter from the local newspaper arrived with a camera and a notepad. She knelt down and snapped photos of the two dogs together, then asked Mr. Peterson, "Do you know where the puppy came from?" Mr. Peterson shook his head. "No one knows. The big dog found him all alone in the woods. They're not even the same color, but now they're family." The reporter nodded and jotted down notes. She patted the German Shepherd and said, "You're a real hero, aren't you?" The story made the front page of the newspaper that very day. Abandoned dog becomes town, hero after brave rescue. Under the headline, there was a picture of the German Shepherd, his strong body shielding the tiny, sleepy puppy. Soon people started calling the gas station, asking about the dogs. Some said they wanted to help. Others said they might know whose puppy it was, but when asked for proof or more information, no one could say for sure. Later that morning, a group of kids came in on their way to school. They crowded around the back room, whispering and giggling. The puppy wagged his little tail and licked their fingers, while the German Shepherd watched closely, making sure the children were gentle. One boy asked, "Do you think they'll get to stay together, Mr. Peterson?" Mr. Peterson smiled, but his eyes were sad. "I hope so. They need each other now." After the kids left, a woman entered the station carrying a small basket. She introduced herself as Mrs. Patel, a neighbor from a nearby farm. "I heard about your dogs," she said. "I brought some cooked chicken and soft bread. They must be hungry." Mr. Peterson thanked her and took the food to the back room. He broke the bread into small pieces for the puppy and put some chicken in a bowl for the German Shepherd. Both dogs ate eagerly, tails wagging. Mrs. Patel peeked in to watch them. "They look happy," she said. "That big dog is so gentle with the baby." Mr. Peterson nodded. "He won't let anyone hurt him, not even me." Mrs. Patel asked if she could try petting the German Shepherd. Mr. Peterson nodded, but warned her, "Go slow. He's still a little scared." She sat on the floor and held out her hand. The German Shepherd sniffed her fingers, then licked her palm. The puppy crawled onto her lap and fell asleep, making everyone laugh softly. Mrs. Patel shook her head. How could anyone leave a dog like this behind? Mr. Peterson looked away, not sure what to say. All day the two dogs stayed in the back room, safe and warm. The German Shepherd rarely left the puppy's side. He watched the door and listened to every noise outside. When the animal shelter worker arrived in the afternoon, he wore a blue uniform and carried a clipboard. He asked Mr. Peterson about the dogs and wrote down everything he learned. The shelter worker checked both dogs, looking for injuries or a collar, but there was nothing. No tag, no name, no way to know where they came from. He said, "I can take them to the shelter. Maybe someone will claim them." But Mr. Peterson shook his head. "Can they stay here a few more days? They just found each other. I don't want to split them up." The shelter worker agreed to wait. He left some advice on feeding the puppy and promised to come back soon. That evening, something strange happened. A white car pulled into the station. A man in a dark jacket and a woman in a red scarf got out. They looked around and walked inside, glancing nervously at the back room. Mr. Peterson watched them closely. "Can I help you?" The woman bit her lip and said, "We saw the newspaper. That puppy might be ours." Mr. Peterson raised an eyebrow. "Do you have a picture? A name?" The man said quickly, "We don't have any photos. We just lost him a few days ago. He ran into the woods." Mr. Peterson frowned. The German Shepherd, lying by the puppy, sat up straight and growled, a deep, low sound. The puppy looked scared and hid behind the big dog. The man stepped forward, but the German Shepherd growled louder and bared his teeth. The woman gasped and backed away. Mr. Peterson held up his hands. "Sorry, he's protecting the puppy. Maybe you could come back with some proof." The couple looked at each other, then hurried out of the store. The white car sped away down the road. Mr. Peterson felt uneasy. He wondered if they were telling the truth. Why did they have no pictures? Why was the dog so upset? As the sun went down, Mr. Peterson locked the door and sat with the dogs. He stroked the German Shepherd's back and said, "You're smart, boy. You know when something's wrong, don't you?" The German Shepherd licked his hand, then curled up with the puppy, who was now fast asleep. Night came, but Mr. Peterson could not sleep. He checked on the dogs often, worried someone might try to take the puppy. Meanwhile, outside, the wind began to blow and dark clouds gathered overhead. A storm was coming. The German Shepherd sensed it too. He got up and padded around the room, checking every corner. The puppy shivered, so the big dog lay next to him, blocking the cold air with his strong body. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed outside, a trash can blown over by the wind. The German Shepherd jumped to his feet, barking at the door. Mr. Peterson hurried in with a flashlight, calming the dog with soft words. "It's just the wind, boy. Nothing to worry about," he said, petting his head. The storm grew stronger. Rain lashed against the windows, and thunder boomed in the distance. The puppy whimpered and hid his head under the blanket. The German Shepherd sat beside him, licking his ears and pressing close until the little one stopped shaking. Together, they waited out the storm. Mr. Peterson sat with them, reading quietly so they would not feel alone. Finally, the rain slowed and the thunder faded. The power blinked off for a few minutes, but Mr. Peterson lit a small lantern and set it by the dogs. In the warm light, the German Shepherd's eyes looked softer, almost happy. He lay his head across the puppy's back, keeping watch until the storm had passed. Early the next morning, after the storm was gone, the town woke up to a rainbow stretching across the sky. People stopped by the gas station with more gifts: blankets, toys, food. The dogs were becoming heroes to everyone. A girl named Lily brought a drawing of the two dogs. She handed it to Mr. Peterson. "This is for the hero dogs," she said shyly. The German Shepherd wagged his tail, and the puppy barked a tiny, happy bark. More visitors came by, asking if they could adopt the dogs. Mr. Peterson wrote down names, but he told everyone, "They're not ready yet. They need each other." That afternoon, the animal shelter worker came back. He had a scanner to check if the dogs had microchips. He scanned both, but nothing beeped. No one could find where they belonged. As the sun set, Mr. Peterson took the dogs outside for a walk. The air was fresh after the rain. The puppy jumped at butterflies while the German Shepherd kept a close watch, making sure the little one was safe. As they walked, a car drove slowly by. Mr. Peterson recognized the white car from the day before. This time, the car did not stop. The people inside looked scared, then sped away. Mr. Peterson shook his head. "Something's not right with them," he said quietly. The German Shepherd stood tall, ears alert, never taking his eyes off the car until it disappeared. That night, when the dogs lay down to sleep, Mr. Peterson promised them, "I won't let anyone hurt you. You're safe here." The German Shepherd believed him. He licked the puppy's nose, curled up beside him, and finally slept with no fear. But outside, the mystery remained. Who left the puppy in the woods? Why did the big dog risk everything to save him? And who were the people in the white car? The answers waited in the shadows, ready to come to light. The morning sun was soft and warm. Birds chirped outside the gas station, and the world seemed calm. But inside, the story was about to change forever. Mr. Peterson was cleaning the gas pumps when his phone rang. It was the local police station. "Mr. Peterson," a voice said, "we want to talk about the dogs you found." Curious and a little worried, Mr. Peterson agreed to meet them at the station. When he arrived, 2 officers were waiting. They showed him a small video clip from a security camera at the gas station. Mr. Peterson's heart pounded as he watched. The video showed a family arriving late at night. A man, a woman, and a young boy got out of the car. The man opened the back door and pulled out a German Shepherd. The dog looked scared and confused. Then the man pushed the dog out of the car and slammed the door shut. The car sped away into the dark. Then, moments later, the woman opened the door again. This time, she pulled out a small bundle wrapped in a dirty blanket. The little puppy whimpered softly as the woman left it near the edge of the woods. She looked around quickly, then walked back to the car and left. Mr. Peterson gasped. "That's the same family?" The officers nodded. "Yes. We found this video while checking reports about missing pets in the area. They reported their dog missing just days ago." Mr. Peterson's face grew red with anger. "They left them there? Both of them? How could they?" One officer spoke carefully. "We're trying to find the family now, but it looks like they wanted to get rid of their dogs." Mr. Peterson clenched his fists. He thought about the German Shepherd, brave and strong, and the tiny puppy, weak and scared. "They're both so helpless," he said softly. "But the big dog, he saved that little one." The officers asked if Mr. Peterson could keep the dogs safe while they investigated. He agreed quickly. When he returned to the gas station, Mr. Peterson called the animal shelter. He told them the news and asked for help to care for the dogs longer. The German Shepherd was lying on his blanket, eyes half closed. The puppy was curled beside him, still weak but resting. Mr. Peterson knelt down and gently stroked the big dog's head. "You did a good thing, boy. You saved that puppy's life." The German Shepherd wagged his tail a little, but did not move from the puppy's side. Later that day, a crowd began to gather outside the station. The news about the family's cruel act spread fast. People were angry and sad. A little girl held a sign that said, "Protect the dogs," while others brought food and toys. Mr. Peterson felt proud and overwhelmed. The dogs were becoming more than just pets. They were symbols of hope and courage. But not everyone was happy. The white car returned. The man and woman stepped out looking nervous. They tried to get near the station, but the crowd stopped them. The German Shepherd barked loudly, warning them to stay away. One man shouted, "Those dogs are ours! You can't keep them!" But people shouted back, "They left them in the woods! They don't care!" The police arrived and told the couple to leave while they continued their investigation. Inside the gas station, Mr. Peterson checked on the dogs. The puppy was awake, licking the German Shepherd's face. Mr. Peterson smiled. "You're safe now?" he whispered. The big dog looked up at him with deep brown eyes. Mr. Peterson could see the pain and hope there. Days passed, and the police worked hard. They spoke with neighbors, checked records, and gathered evidence. The German Shepherd and the puppy stayed at the gas station, growing stronger and more comfortable. The puppy's legs became steadier. The big dog's eyes shone brighter. Mr. Peterson thought often about the dog's past. He wished he could understand why the family did what they did. But for now, his job was to protect the dogs and help them heal. One afternoon, a kind woman named Sarah came to visit. She worked for the animal shelter and had soft hands and a gentle voice. Sarah checked the dogs carefully. She gave the puppy medicine to help with an infection. She combed the German Shepherd's fur and cleaned his wounds. "You're both fighters," she said kindly, "and heroes." Sarah spent time with the dogs every day, teaching Mr. Peterson how to care for them. She told him stories about other animals who had been rescued and found happy homes. One evening, as the sun set orange and pink behind the hills, Mr. Peterson sat with Sarah outside the gas station. "Do you think someone will adopt them?" he asked. Sarah smiled. "I believe so, but right now they need time to trust again, especially the big dog." Mr. Peterson nodded. He's been through so much, but he never gave up. The two watched as the German Shepherd lay beside the puppy, guarding it like a true friend. Suddenly, a loud knock came at the door. Mr. Peterson opened it to find a tall man in a uniform. It was the local police chief. "We have new information about the family," he said gravely. Mr. Peterson invited him inside. The chief showed a photo of the family from a social media post. "They have a history of neglecting animals," he explained. "We're preparing to press charges." Mr. Peterson felt relief wash over him. Justice might come. But then the chief added, "There's something else." Everyone leaned in. "We found another dog missing from that family, a German Shepherd. We think it's the same one you found here." Mr. Peterson looked at the big dog. The German Shepherd's eyes met his, calm and steady. The chief continued, "We believe this dog has been waiting for its family, and now it's protecting someone very important." Mr. Peterson understood. The dog was not just a hero. He was a guardian. That night, Mr. Peterson sat with the dogs in the quiet gas station. He whispered, "You're safe now. No one will hurt you." The German Shepherd rested his head on the puppy and closed his eyes. Together, they waited for the next day, ready for whatever might come. The morning sun peeked over the horizon, lighting up the small town with soft golden light. The gas station buzzed with quiet activity, but under the surface, the air was thick with tension. Mr. Peterson unlocked the door and walked inside. The German Shepherd was already awake, sitting tall by the window, watching the road. The puppy was curled in a ball, still resting, but slowly growing stronger every day. News of the family's neglect and the police investigation had spread far beyond the little town. Reporters came again, hoping for interviews. Neighbors talked in hushed voices. Some people brought food and blankets. Others just stared. But the family who had left the dogs behind had not given up. They wanted their dogs back. Mr. Peterson felt a knot in his stomach. He worried about what might happen if the family tried to take the dogs by force. The German Shepherd seemed to sense this too. Every time a car drove by, he barked sharply, standing between the puppy and the door. One afternoon, a loud knock startled everyone. Mr. Peterson opened the door to find two officers and a lawyer. The lawyer held a paper. "This is a claim for the dogs," she said politely. "The family says they are the rightful owners and want them returned." Mr. Peterson frowned. "But they left the dogs to die in the woods." The lawyer shook her head. "That is a legal matter for the court to decide. Until then, the dogs must be held here." Mr. Peterson felt anger rise inside him, but he knew he must follow the law. "I understand," he said carefully, "but these dogs have been through a lot. They need time and care." The officers nodded. "We'll make sure they stay safe." The German Shepherd growled low in his throat, warning the visitors to keep their distance. The puppy whimpered and hid behind him. Days passed with a strange calm. The police and shelter workers visited often, checking on the dogs. But the family had hired a lawyer and was preparing for court. The community grew restless, divided between those who wanted justice and those who believed the law must be followed. One evening, a group of neighbors gathered outside the gas station. They held signs that read, "Protect the dogs," "No more abuse," and "Justice for the brave." The German Shepherd watched from the window, his eyes steady but alert. He knew the fight was just beginning. Inside, Mr. Peterson sat with Sarah from the shelter. They talked quietly about the dog's future. "I worry about the court," Sarah said. "The family might get the dogs back, even though they don't deserve them." Mr. Peterson nodded slowly. "We have to hope the judge will see what happened." That night, the German Shepherd lay next to the puppy, his eyes closed but his ears twitched, listening to every sound. Suddenly, a noise outside made him jump to his feet. A car pulling up fast, doors slamming. Mr. Peterson ran to the window and saw the white car again. The man and woman from before were back. They looked angry and determined. Before Mr. Peterson could react, the German Shepherd bolted out the door, barking fiercely. The puppy followed, small but brave. The man shouted, "Get back here, dog!" The German Shepherd did not stop. He ran toward the car, standing his ground between the vehicle and the gas station. The woman tried to grab the puppy, but the big dog growled and snapped, keeping her away. Neighbors heard the noise and came outside. They saw the confrontation and called the police. Within minutes, officers arrived and separated everyone. The man and woman were taken aside for questioning. The German Shepherd stood tall, guarding the puppy and the gas station. Mr. Peterson patted the dog's head. "Good boy," he said. "You saved us again." The police promised to increase patrols and watch over the dogs. As the sun set, a crowd gathered to thank the German Shepherd. Children hugged him, and adults cheered. But the fight was far from over. The court date was set. Lawyers from both sides prepared for the battle ahead. Mr. Peterson and Sarah worked to gather evidence and witnesses. They spoke with veterinarians, neighbors, and animal lovers who knew the dogs. The German Shepherd seemed to understand. He was calm, but ready. He stayed close to the puppy, protecting him like a true guardian. The puppy, now stronger and more playful, followed the big dog everywhere. One day, a boy from the neighborhood came to visit. He sat with the dogs and told stories of his own dog that had passed away. The German Shepherd listened, tail wagging slowly. Mr. Peterson smiled. "They're healing," he said softly. But late one night, a new problem arose. Mr. Peterson heard scratching at the back door. He opened it and found the white car parked nearby. The man and woman were gone. Instead, a stranger stood in the shadows, watching. Mr. Peterson felt a chill. He knew the fight was not just about the law, it was about protecting the dogs from people who did not care. He locked the door and called the police. The German Shepherd stood beside him, alert and ready. Days passed with tension. The town watched closely. Everyone wanted the dogs to be safe. Finally, the court day arrived. The courtroom was packed. People whispered and cameras flashed. The family's lawyer argued that the dogs were theirs and must be returned. But Mr. Peterson and Sarah told the story of the abandonment, the rescue, and the love that had grown between the dogs. They showed the security footage. They shared the vet reports. The judge listened carefully. When the decision came, the room was silent. The judge ruled that the dogs would stay in protective care until a safe home was found. The family was ordered to attend counseling and was banned from owning animals for a time. Cheers filled the room. The German Shepherd and the puppy were safe. Outside the court, Mr. Peterson hugged Sarah. "We did it." The German Shepherd barked happily, wagging his tail. The puppy jumped and licked his face. The fight was won, but their journey was only beginning. Mr. Peterson promised the dogs a new life, filled with love and safety. Together, they walked out into the bright sunlight, ready for whatever the future held. The days following the court decision were full of relief, but also new challenges. The German Shepherd and the puppy were safe for now, but their future still felt uncertain. Mr. Peterson made sure they had everything they needed: food, warmth, and plenty of love. The puppy grew stronger every day, learning to run and play. The German Shepherd watched over him like a proud older brother. But the big dog still carried a sadness deep inside. Sometimes he would stare out the window, as if waiting for something, or someone, who would never come back. One morning, a new visitor arrived at the gas station, a young woman named Emily. She worked with a local animal rescue group and had heard the story on the news. Her gentle voice and kind eyes immediately calmed the dogs. Emily knelt down and held out a soft blanket for the puppy. "Hello, little one," she whispered. "You're safe now?" The German Shepherd approached slowly, sniffing her carefully. He seemed to understand she was a friend. Emily smiled. "I want to help you find a forever home. You both deserve that." Mr. Peterson nodded gratefully. "Thank you. They've been through so much already." Emily stayed with them for several hours. She asked questions, took notes, and made plans to find a family that could love both dogs together. As she worked, the German Shepherd and the puppy played nearby. The puppy chased a ball, barking happily, while the big dog rested, his eyes softening. But not everyone was happy about the attention. Late one afternoon, a car pulled into the gas station. The windows were tinted dark. No one recognized the driver. The German Shepherd growled low in his throat and stood between the puppy and the car. Mr. Peterson watched nervously. "Who could that be?" The car stopped near the pumps. The driver stepped out, a tall man with a hard face. He looked around quickly, then walked toward the station. "Can I help you?" Mr. Peterson asked cautiously. The man smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "I'm here to see those dogs," he said quietly. Mr. Peterson frowned. "They're under protection. You can't just come here." The man's smile disappeared. "I'm with the family who owns them. They want their dogs back." Mr. Peterson felt anger rise, but he stayed calm. The court ruled they can't have them. The man's eyes darkened. "That can change." The German Shepherd growled louder and stepped forward, showing his teeth. The man hesitated, then turned and left. Mr. Peterson locked the door behind him. "We'll have to be careful," he said. The German Shepherd lay down beside the puppy and looked out the window, his eyes watchful and alert. That night, Emily returned. She brought a special collar for the German Shepherd and a soft bed for the puppy. "I want them to feel safe and loved," she said, placing the collar gently around the big dog's neck. The German Shepherd sniffed it and wagged his tail. Emily smiled. "You're a brave boy. You saved a life, and now it's time for you to be happy." Days turned into weeks. The dogs grew stronger and more playful. The community continued to support them with visits, gifts, and kind words. Mr. Peterson and Emily worked together, meeting families and finding potential adopters. But the German Shepherd still watched the road every day. Sometimes he would whimper softly in his sleep, as if dreaming of a past he could not forget. One afternoon, a little boy named Jake came to the gas station. He was shy, but had kind eyes. Jake sat quietly near the dogs and began to tell stories about his own dog who had passed away. The German Shepherd listened carefully. He seemed to understand Jake's sadness. Jake reached out his hand slowly. The big dog sniffed it, then licked it gently. From that moment, a quiet friendship began. Mr. Peterson watched them and smiled. Maybe they're meant for each other. The weeks passed. The legal fight faded into the background. The dogs found comfort in their new lives. But one evening, just as the sun was setting, trouble came again. A group of strangers appeared near the gas station. They moved quietly, trying not to be seen. The German Shepherd noticed them immediately. He barked loudly, waking Mr. Peterson. The neighbors gathered outside, curious and worried. Mr. Peterson called the police. Officers arrived quickly and searched the area. The strangers had left, but their visit sent a warning. The fight to protect the dogs was not over. The German Shepherd stood tall, guarding the puppy and the town's hope. Together, they faced every challenge, proving that courage and love could overcome even the darkest times. The morning air was thick with tension. The small town was buzzing more than usual. News of the dogs and the family's fight to get them back had spread far and wide. At the gas station, Mr. Peterson and Emily prepared for what could be the biggest day yet, the final hearing to decide the dog's future. The German Shepherd and the puppy lay quietly on their blankets, sensing something was different. The big dog's ears twitched as he watched the front door. He was alert but calm, like a soldier ready for battle. Mr. Peterson looked at the dogs and smiled softly. "Today's the day, boys. We're going to make sure you're safe forever." The hearing was held in the town's small courthouse. The courtroom filled quickly with neighbors, reporters, and supporters of the dogs. The family who had abandoned the dogs was there, looking nervous and angry. The judge entered, and the room fell silent. The lawyers for both sides stood to speak. The family's lawyer argued that the dogs were their property, and the court should return them. But Mr. Peterson and Emily told a different story, one of abandonment, rescue, and courage. They showed the security footage again, the family leaving the dogs behind at the gas station and in the woods. They shared vet reports proving the dogs had been hurt and neglected. The community's voices were heard through written letters and live testimony. Neighbors who had seen the dogs alone, children who had played with them, and volunteers who had cared for them. The German Shepherd sat quietly beside Mr. Peterson, eyes fixed on the front of the courtroom. The puppy nestled close, feeling safe. The judge listened carefully to every word. Finally, the moment came. The judge spoke with a clear, strong voice. Therefore, evidence shows that these dogs were abandoned and left to suffer. They have been rescued and cared for by those who love them. Because of this, the court rules that the dogs will remain in protective custody until suitable, loving homes can be found. The family's claim to ownership is revoked, and they will not be allowed to own pets in the future. This decision is made to protect the welfare of these animals and prevent further harm. A cheer rose in the courtroom. Mr. Peterson breathed a deep sigh of relief. Emily smiled warmly and patted the German Shepherd's head. The dogs had won. Outside, the crowd gathered and celebrated. People hugged, laughed, and cried. The German Shepherd barked happily, tail wagging. The puppy jumped and yipped with joy. For the first time, both dogs were truly free. Mr. Peterson spoke to the crowd. These dogs have shown us the power of hope and courage. They remind us to be kind and brave, even in the darkest times. The community promised to continue caring for the dogs and help find them a forever home. Days later, a family who had been following the story came to the gas station. They were kind and gentle, with soft voices and big smiles. They knelt before the dogs and spoke softly. The German Shepherd and the puppy sniffed them carefully. The family opened the car door and showed toys, treats, and a warm blanket. Slowly, the dogs climbed inside. Mr. Peterson and Emily watched, tears in their eyes. The dogs had found their forever home. As the car drove away, the German Shepherd looked back one last time, then turned to the puppy. They were together, safe and loved. The journey had been long and hard, but in the end, love had won. The gas station felt quieter after the dogs left with their new family. The warm blankets and toys they had taken were still there, but the big German Shepherd and the tiny puppy were gone. Mr. Peterson missed them deeply. He often walked to the spot where the dogs used to sleep and smiled at the memories. The town, too, felt different. The story of the brave dogs had brought people together like never before. Strangers helped neighbors, and kindness seemed to grow like wildflowers. At the local school, children told the story of the German Shepherd who saved the puppy. They made drawings and wrote poems about courage and love. Mr. Peterson visited the animal shelter often, helping other dogs and sharing the story of the two heroes. Emily kept in touch with the new family. She said the dogs were happy and safe, growing stronger every day. Sometimes she sent pictures of the German Shepherd running in the backyard and the puppy chasing butterflies. One day, a letter arrived at the gas station. It was from the family who adopted the dogs. They wrote about how much joy the dogs brought into their lives. The German Shepherd was calm and gentle, and the puppy was full of energy and love. They thanked Mr. Peterson and everyone who cared for them. "You saved our family," the letter said. The community felt proud. They knew they had helped change lives, but Mr. Peterson also remembered the hard times, the sadness, the fear, and the fight to protect the dogs. He understood that many animals still needed help, so he started a small group with neighbors to rescue and care for lost and abandoned pets. The group grew quickly with volunteers from all over town. Together, they made sure no dog or puppy would ever be left alone in the woods again. The German Shepherd and the puppy had started something bigger than anyone expected. Their story was not just about rescue, it was about hope, courage, and the power of love to change lives. And in the hearts of everyone who knew them, the dogs would always be heroes. As the sun set each evening, Mr. Peterson looked out over the gas station and smiled. He thought about the dogs, safe and happy in their new home. He whispered softly, "Thank you for teaching us what it means to be brave." And somewhere far away under a starry sky, the German Shepherd and the puppy dreamed together, safe, loved, and forever family. Time passed quietly in the small town. The gas station still stood by the highway, a place where travelers stopped and locals gathered. But something had changed, something better. Mr. Peterson often thought about the German Shepherd and the puppy. Though they were gone, their story lived on in the hearts of everyone who heard it. The dogs had brought the community together. People learned to care more, to notice the animals around them, and to act with kindness. Mr. Peterson sometimes sat on the porch of the gas station at sunset, watching the sky turn orange and pink. He would smile and whisper, "Thank you, boys. You change more than just your own lives." Emily continued her work at the animal shelter, inspired by the courage of the dogs. She told their story to visitors and volunteers, reminding everyone why they fight to protect animals. The family who adopted the dogs sent letters and pictures. The German Shepherd was calm, strong, and loving. The puppy was playful and full of life. Their new home was filled with warmth and laughter, the kind the dogs had long missed. The story of the dogs became a symbol, a reminder that even when things seem dark and hopeless, love and courage can light the way. Mr. Peterson helped start a local rescue group that grew bigger each year. They saved many animals who were lost or hurt, giving them new chances at life. Children in the town learned about the German Shepherd and puppy in school. They drew pictures and told their friends. The dogs had become heroes, not just to a few, but to a whole community. And sometimes, late at night, when the stars shone bright, Mr. Peterson would look up and imagine the dogs running free, happy and safe. He knew their journey was over, but their story would never end.